Hi everyone, it's New Jersey Garden. It's May 24th and I wanted to do a garden tour just showing you the updates in the garden. This garden bed is in front of our house. There's a small driveway to the left and then there's the street. And the area by the mailbox is where I first started planting flowers, and it's expanded over the years, so we'll just go over. This time I'm just going to talk about plants that are about to bloom because there's so much in here. But these are poppies and they'll be blooming in the next, I would say, 10 days. A lot of these poppies are Princess Victoria Louise poppies. All my poppies are Oriental poppies. I've tried to grow other types of poppies, but the Oriental ones seem to do the best. Over here, this is blanket flower, and that's going to start blooming soon as well. There's some more poppies. This is soapwart, and it's actually an herb, and it's in full bloom right now. There's some more poppies. Now this was barely leafing out the last time I did a video. This is a Crepe Myrtle and it will be blooming in August and September. And every year it gets a little bigger, and right next to it is a lilac, and what I did is today I went out and pruned my 3 lilac bushes. I trimmed off all the spent blooms. And then over here is a couple of peonies. There's one here, and then this one on the lower to the ground. This one here won't bloom, but this one is about to bloom. I have a lot of liatris. And it looks like some gladiolus is popping up from last year. Now I should dig up my gladiolus every year, but I get lazy in the fall and I did not dig up my gladiolus, so this is just coming back from last year. And then over here is some lupin that I had planted last year, so that should be blooming soon. And there's a lot of soapwort here. This is the mailbox. There's a lot of soapwort blooming here. And this clematis should be blooming in a couple of weeks. It keeps falling over. I really need to stake it better. It looks like the butterfly weed that I had planted in a few spots in the front here is going to make it. It really struggled after I planted it. But it looks like it's doing okay. And then all the yarrow that I had planted from seed in the basement this winter, I had transplanted out about a month ago, and that's doing okay too. And then as you can see, I have 8 peony plants and they will be blooming really soon. Very excited for the peonies. Lots of buds. Then over here, the black-eyed Susans are getting much bigger. And there's a little bit of ground cover phlox still in bloom from earlier in the spring. I'll just show you a shot of the garden from back here. Now my daughter and I just planted some zinnias in this spot right here. Now let's go take a look at a couple other spots in the garden to see what's blooming. Okay, so over here, this area needs to be mulched a little bit. There's some landscape fabric underneath, and there's just some old mulch that's kind of needs a refresher. But I planted a lot of alyssum here the last couple years, and it pops up every spring. So this will be like nice little white flowers here. And then over here I had planted just a few sweet williams, and I don't remember even planting them in a circle, but they made this giant circular grouping here, and a couple of them started to open. And then right next to our steps here is Canterbury Bells. I planted that last year as well. And then over here is the sweet william that is in bloom, and I just did a separate video on this. They make great cut flowers, and in the evening they have a faint clove smell. And then over here I planted some baby gem romaine lettuce and some spinach in this raised planter on my deck, and I've been cutting the lettuce for salads. I planted it really close together, so it's the leaves aren't getting huge, but it is a baby romaine and it's really tasty. And then I planted some other type of lettuce here, and I planted it just as heavily, but not that many seedlings popped up, so we'll have to see how this does. This has a little bit of red in it. Over here I planted a lot of emerald French green beans all along here, and I put up some netting. So the green beans are starting, and I mixed in some zucchini plants in this garden bed. There's one that I just planted today. And then I had a variety of, a couple different types of tomatoes. There's some cherry tomatoes here, tomato berry, and I think I have 4 small plants of those. And then I had planted some tomatoes in that raised planter, and 4 seedlings came back this year, so I decided to just plant them and see what develops. So some tomatoes back here. Then there's a grouping of sunflowers over here. Some were planted this year and some came back from last year. And then along the back of this bed I had planted some dahlias, and they haven't popped up yet. And then in the middle of the garden are 2 different varieties of cucumbers. And I started the staking already. I just use these driveway markers as stakes. And then over here we have a lot of strawberries that we planted last year, and I did try to plant some of the runners, but we're going to get a lot of strawberries. And then in front of the strawberries I planted sugar snap peas, and those are starting to climb up this netting. So I'll have to reach in and grab the strawberries through the netting. Everything's very tight in this garden bed. It's not a very big garden bed. And there's a little bit of dill in here from last year. And that's about it for now. But I'll do another video showing all the peonies when they are in bloom in a few days. Here is one more shot of the sweet williams. They just look so beautiful. I keep staring at them every day. I guess I love them because they're just a new addition to the garden, and I really hope they come back next year. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you for subscribing.